You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Veterans Action Report. Sorry I've been gone the last 2 weeks. I've just been extremely busy with a lot of things. Last week we were actually up in Wisconsin, and we were doing some rowing in the Whoopee, and I'm actually going to show you guys a video here in a second. So the Whoopee is the boat that we are rowing across the ocean in December. So it's called the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge. If you guys don't know what it is, go check it out. I'm actually going to share a link in the comments here for you guys to go watch. I'm going to look it up while I'm talking. But it's a recap. It's a recap of the 2019 Talisker Whiskey. It was unbelievable. Every time I watch this video, it makes me want to row this ocean. I can't wait to actually get out there and do it. And we start, I think we're leaving November 26th. We'll be flying out to Spain. And then on the December 12th is when the race actually starts itself. So what we plan on doing is doing like a big going away party here in Minneapolis. And then there's one for Will out in Webster, one for Tommy down in Omaha, and then one for Chad out in Buffalo. We're all going to do our own individual things. So we're probably going to do a big Thanksgiving dinner at a local VFW. But yeah, so that hopefully will be a pretty big turnout. I don't know if the VFW even let us cook there. We should, but we're probably going to do like a big going away party. And then I am going to be gone. Let's see, it'll be if we do it in 49 days, we're supposed to be back in Antigua in the Caribbean in June 31st. And then I will be back February 15th. So I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do in the meantime for Veterans Action Report during that time frame, because I will not be able to do it from the ocean. So we'll figure that out later on. I just shared in the comments the 2019 recap for what we're trying to do this year, and it's amazing. And the music alone is awesome. The commentary is amazing. You'll actually see our boat that we're rowing called the Whoopee, and it's absolutely awesome. So 1 second here. Stand by. You're good. Sorry, guys. My buddy Josh is here. He's actually going to co-host the show with me today, and my girlfriend locked the door. But it's okay. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys a video real quick. This is the Whoopee. We actually got on Lake Superior, which actually counts towards our ocean rowing training just because of the amount of waves and how big that lake is. So we can technically practice on there. So I'm going to bring this up real quick. So this is just a quick video of us rowing the other day. And if I could get my mouse on the right screen, you can see us out there. So what we do is we row in twos, right? So me and Will usually are pretty synced up, but of course I show you the one video where we're not doing it right. So pretty much this is what we're going to be doing for 49 days. Right here at this pace, we're going about 3.5 knots per hour, which is pretty good. And we didn't think we were rowing that hard or anything, but what we had is we had the ability to actually track how fast we were going, which is awesome. And we ended up seeing like we averaged about 4 knots an hour. Or 4 knots. What was it? I think 4 knots an hour. Yeah. Anyway. But we should be able to do this in about 46 to 49 days is what our goal is. And we'll actually be world record holders. So, my guest is actually here. We just did a Warriors Next Adventure podcast, and my guest canceled on me today, kind of last minute. So I figured I'd have Josh come back and bring him on. So here we go. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, man?
How are you? Thanks for making the rush down from Cambridge.
I made it.
Right on time, too.
Nice.
How you been?
Good.
Yeah.
Been doing better. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Working on my motorcycle.
So speaking of working on motorcycles,
Yep.
so Josh had an amazing idea, and I decided to run with it and see what we could do. You had said something along the lines of, how cool it would be to like work on a motorcycle and donate it or something along those lines. And so I went on Facebook Marketplace and just started shooting out a bunch of messages saying, hey, we run a nonprofit. We want to fix up a motorcycle for a veteran. And dude ended up donating a 1994 CBR. That
That's
thing,
crazy, man.
dude, he said he dynoed that thing at 199 miles an hour.
It's pretty fast.
But the beautiful part is it's completely in pieces. So we have to rebuild it from the ground up, which is exactly what we wanted to do.
Exactly.
It's funny because we talked about manifestation literally that day.
That day.
And then next thing you know,
I was just going to say how crazy it was just to have it happen in one day, not even a full day.
Dude, I know. And it was literally hours. I got an answer literally 2 hours after you left.
Called me, yeah.
It's crazy. So Josh here is actually one of my ambassadors for Warriors Next Adventure. And what he's actually going to be doing is you're going to be leading the build, which, not going to lie, I totally forgot to call that guy yesterday.
Nice.
But anyway, we need to go down to South St. Paul and pick the bike up. And we might be able to go do that after this.
I'm down.
I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're putting the bike in my garage. And what we're going to do, we're going to fix the bike up. And we don't know what we're going to do with it yet. We're going to either use it for an auction, which a race bike would be a lot of fun for somebody. Like if anyone wants to like practice racing, they want to go up to BIR, the Brainerd International Raceway.
Yeah.
Amazing motorcycle track. I've only been there once back in I think it was 2006.
Yeah, I've never been there. I've only driven by it. Yeah.
Dude, we got to go up there once we finish this thing.
Down.
So, as far as I know, we have everything we need. We have 2 transmissions. We have 2 engines.
Okay.
One of the engines has bent valves, so we just have to take the head off and we have to put new valves on.
Okay.
But that shouldn't be too hard. Move your mic a little closer.
So everything is that good? Everything works. Just needs to be put together.
Yep.
Too
so
easy.
he said the last time he had it put together, because they took it apart to paint it.
Everything works until it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, what he said is they took it apart to paint the flames on it, which I wish I had. Do you remember if I sent that picture to you on Messenger?
No, he sent it through text.
Did I text it to you?
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm gonna try and pull up this picture.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Send it to you on Messenger real quick.
Yeah, dude, make my life easier, son. But yeah, so this bike, like I said, it's a 1994 CBR, and it was an old race bike. And like I said, this guy dynoed this thing at 199 miles an hour. I cannot wait to see this thing. We were actually talking about. I'm so nervous about motorcycles because I crashed while I was in the military in 2011, and I haven't touched a bike since. But I've been getting the itch. And then my buddy TJ just started Memento Mori in Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my buddy TJ.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I follow them.
TJ was a CO.
They're about to do a ride.
TJ is a CO over at what's the one in Stillwater?
Depends. Stillwater County
Name
or
some.
Stillwater Prison,
like
or
the federal
Oak Park Heights.
Oak Park Heights. Yeah. So he's over at Oak Park Heights, and it's a law enforcement
I hate that
CO.
place.
No, I bet. So you actually, we were trying to debate on what we were going to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about the time when we first met. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about when we first met and some of the things that we talked about, if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Good. So Josh has
Talking about
an amazing story.
with Rob at the.
Yeah. So do you remember when me and you went hiking over in Stillwater,
Mhm.
which is actually right about where we're doing the hike on Friday? You going to that?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're doing a hike over at the Stillwater Boom site Friday at 4:45. Anybody can come. It's not just veterans. It's anybody. We're doing it through Invoke Change and Warriors Next Adventure. So I think we have like 7 or 8 people that are coming, which is sweet.
Sure.
So what we're doing is we're doing a hike, and then I'm going to show everybody how to meditate. And we're going to do it with a lot of distractions, because if you learn how to meditate properly with distractions, imagine how nice it's going to be when it's quiet.
Yeah. We're talking about the hike.
What's it saying? Oh, there you go. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. So we were hiking over in Stillwater, and then we started talking, and I like to look and see what is what is this person's issue that is either holding them back or causing them stress? And the first principle of my 6 principles is you have to look at who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what your former job was, and let's just kind of dig into that a little bit.
I was working at Stillwater Prison. I was a CO there for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got certified, I think, when I went out to the hike with you guys.
So tell us a little bit about some of the experiences that you had out there.
There's lots of stuff. Fights. It's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's always fun. Drugs, dirty staff.
Is there like a lot of people working for the convicts and stuff?
No, I think there was. Wait, what'd you say?
Like people that were like doing illegal shit with the prisoners?
I think we had like 8 people fired in the 2.5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could see how like it would be tempting.
Because I got
COs
offered all the time.
Well, you guys didn't make that much money.
Yeah.
You know,
I had the same response every time, unless you're willing to pay my retirement in full right now.
I know, right?
And
It's
keep
not,
moving.
and it's not worth it for an extra
Yeah, and if
$50
you
to
ask
sneak
again, you're
something
going
in.
to SEG.
There you go. So how did that job affect your life?
It's pretty deep, man.
Let's get deep, homie.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Just
Balls.
pretend nobody's listening. It's just me and you.
Okay. I think I was searching for something that felt like the military.
Yeah.
And that was the closest thing I could do with my qualifications. And it just didn't. I really found out that I'm just not for that kind of thing.
Well, it's like from what I gathered from you is like you were looking for that camaraderie.
Yeah, and there wasn't that.
Really?
It was like high school.
Well, it's the same thing that I tell people that, get. I personally tried this, back when I was still kind of jacked up in the head, contracting overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I wanted to so bad, but my discharge.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the way I see it is it worth it?
I don't know, man.
How much money is your life worth?
Yeah.
How much money is your
But
mental
when you're in
health
that
worth?
state, you're like, I don't care about my life.
Yeah.
I just want to feel that adrenaline and all that.
Well, that's why I tell veterans who are talking about going into that kind of crap, they always call me and I'm like, think about this,
think
dude.
About it, man.
Is it good money? Let's see here. Cora actually had something good here. It's like, something we all search for is something similar to the military. It's absolutely true. I mean, I did it with the State Patrol. Luckily I found it at the State Patrol pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was out for about a year after the whole clubbing and beating the shit out of people and just being overall a crappy person.
Yeah.
And then I kind of cleaned up a little bit with the State Patrol, but the difference between what I found and what you had was you're surrounded by I'm sure not all of them were shitty people, but they're convicts.
Oh, you mean,
right?
yeah.
The inmates.
Oh, dude, the energy in there is so low.
Yeah.
Not good.
What would it?
Plus what I was bringing in.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you generally feel like on the days that you left there? Was it like a decent environment, or did you like quite literally feel like you were in combat again?
Oh, and it was usually a decent environment.
Yeah.
I was utility staff, so I went to whatever unit that they wanted me to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start getting good at one unit, they'll put you in there more often. So I started getting used to certain staff and making good bonds. And generally the days are pretty uneventful.
Yeah.
They just go do whatever they're going to do, and you just watch them.
Yeah.
Make rounds, security rounds. But sometimes it did feel like that.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in an altercation, your adrenaline's jacked. That's what eventually led me to want to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want to lose control of myself.
I remember when you first started talking about, I was just listening to you talk, and then you started talking about your job. I'm like, dude, it's your job. Your job is causing
plus COVID.
issues. Well, yeah, COVID didn't
was
help.
fucking with my head.
Yeah, COVID didn't help.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I'll just get my pee slap later. But no, it's COVID had an effect on everything. Luckily for me, at the State Patrol, it didn't really affect anything.
Yeah.
I got a mask waiver. I mean, if people think that's whatever, we'll talk offline if you want to argue with me about it.
Yeah.
But I got a mask wear, so nothing really changed.
Politics aside,
Politics aside, I didn't want to wear the mask.
Mine was
couldn't
so
wear the
bad
mask.
because I had such bad health anxiety at that time because my panic attacks, I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Feel like you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the worst. Mara made me go to the hospital last year because I was having such a bad panic attack. I thought I was actually having a heart attack, and it was weird because it just came out of nowhere. And I realized that I had just pulled a gun out of somebody's hands like the day before, and I usually decompress pretty well, but I didn't deal with this one right away. I went right back to doing work and stuff, and it just hit me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about working as a CEO. Like when my buddy TJ went over there, I'm just like, you really want to do this? Like,
some people love it. There's a dude there's been there 45 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
45 years.
The thing is, like, you can't really sit in, like, it's just different. Like, it has to be for you. Like being a cop, you have to be the mentality of wanting to be a cop. And I really wanted to be a cop when I got out. But the state patrol, I was a dispatcher for them for 8 years, and I ended up getting denied 1 year. And then every year after that, the captain kept asking, "Hey, you should apply. You should apply. You should apply." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good.
I'm good where I'm at. Yeah.
Screw being a cop, man."
Especially recently.
Yeah, dude. Well, so the something that
too affected.
Yeah, and it's something that everyone's scared to talk about, but I don't care. The whole George Floyd thing, completely took my mentality away from wanting to be a cop ever again.
Oh.
Every single, so a lot of people don't know this, but every single large riot that happened because of the George Floyd stuff and the Castillo stuff, I was the one dispatching every single riot. I was the one getting all the troopers down into the metro to actually block off the highways and secure the highways. So,
dude, even talking about it makes me anxious.
Dude, I know, right? I'm starting, my heart's starting to pound.
Just seeing that on the news really got me.
Well, it was not only that, but Cora said, "Yes, please." So many people ask why I'm not a cop now. Hard pass.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed being security forces. I loved it when I was patrol. I actually really enjoyed being a cop. And then, I only was on base 11 months out of 6 years. The rest of it was, 50 cal gunner deploying to Iraq and Afghanistan. But when I was patrol, I really genuinely loved it. I would go around base housing. I'd stop and talk to people and it was like, I literally got paid to drive around and talk to people and make sure everyone's okay. Yeah. That was like my life goal, growing up as an abused kid. My stepdad beat the living crap out of me and my mom and damn near killed her one day. Yeah. I don't think I've told this on this podcast, but my birth mom actually crashed a snowmobile. And we still don't know what the story actually is because she's a pathological liar, and I don't talk to her anymore. Yeah. So whatever the story was, I ran out there and she was dead, and I brought her back to life. I put her head in my lap and I was punching her in the chest, and she came back. Spit blood all over my face. I'm like, well, I gotta go inside and call the cops. So I ran inside and I grabbed a blanket, and because I knew it's shock, I had to keep her warm. And he essentially told me that if you touch that phone, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, wow, you're a nice person. So we had a hidden phone in the basement, and I ran downstairs, grabbed that phone, called 911, and ran back out to my mom. And she had slowly started, like, I thought she was going to die again. Her heartbeat was just terrible, right? And I was only 10 years old. I watched a lot of Rescue 911, so that's how I knew how to check pulse and shit like that.
Boy Scout.
Dude, I loved it. Hell yeah, I was a Boy Scout too. But no, like, I kept her alive, and, eventually she went to the ambulance got there. But there was a cop that showed up. But God, I wish I could find this guy. I still think about him all the time, but he's the reason why I wanted to be a cop, because he came up to me and he was kind of joking with me just to make sure I was doing okay. Yeah. He's like, "Hey man, we need your help." He made me come over and help carry my mom on the stretcher.
That's a good dude.
I didn't have to do that. No, I wasn't strong enough.
Getting you involved.
Exactly. Right. So he was making me feel like I had value. And at that point in my life, I felt like I had no value, because I was always getting beaten up. I was getting thrown around, slapped around, thrown down the stairs, punched in the face by a
He was giving you the choice.
Yeah, well, he was making me feel like I was a part of it. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he drove me to the hospital, and he came and checked on me like 3 times. He asked me multiple times, like, "Does your stepdad hit you?" Yeah. I'm just like, I'm terrified. And he said he'd kill me if I said anything. So I'm like, no, I'm good. But like, I wanted to be a cop so bad because of that, and being security forces, driving around in a patrol car. I just drove around base housing all the time just to make sure everyone's okay. Because just because somebody's in the military doesn't mean they're a good person. There's a lot of really crappy parents in the military. And so there'd been multiple times where there was a kid that ran away. I went and picked him up. I ended up finding him, picked him up, and we drove back home. The whole time he's talking about how he hates his parents and everything like that. And so I took him to the shop and we got a snow cone and not a snow cone. What are the things called? And it's like, is it an icy?
Like icy or
Whatever the
something
hell
or
they're called.
something.
My
Yeah.
daughter gets it. I think there's an icy.
Yeah.
I don't drink that crap. But we got him an icy and we sat down and we just sat at a bench and talked. And we talked for like 30 minutes. I called the command, said, "Hey, I got him. I'm going to take him out to get some food real quick. And then we're going to go back to the house, tell the parents we'll be there soon." And, we get there and there's this like infant with a drill in her hand, drilling holes in the fucking wall. And I'm like, "What are you doing?
What is happening?
I'm so confused." And I couldn't believe, what I was observing. Yeah, shaved ice. There you go. Thanks, Chanel. But slushy, shaved ice, there you go. Yeah. Everyone knows what it is but me.
Yeah.
But I finally felt like I could replicate.
You're doing something. You can see the
Yeah.
difference that you can make.
I could be a part of it. But then the whole George Floyd thing happened and cops are the demons. I watched some
I've
of
had
my
bad
troopers.
experiences with cops.
Everybody at the Minnesota State Patrol, I know a lot of my troopers still listen to this. I still call them my troopers because I love you guys. Every trooper that I had, when I was dispatching, especially the Brainerd guys, because I was up in Brainerd the last like 2 years because I could not handle the Metro anymore.
Yeah.
Because I was West Metro.
Let's get out of town for a
Dude,
minute.
yeah, screw that. Right. So it's still the same dispatch center, but I was working the Brainerd area in Brainerd, central Minnesota. And I love my troopers out there. Those guys are awesome. I would totally love to be their partners. There was a bunch of them who actually asked me, like, "Hey, dude, you should come be one of our partners. Like, we want you up here in Brainerd." I'm like, "I don't know if I want to be a cop, dude."
Yeah.
I watched my troopers get hit in the head with bricks, and they're good people too.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, "Oh, they're monsters. They're monsters. They're monsters." I'm like, you know what? I got to get out of this career field. And it was the same. I was listening to myself the day that I was talking to you.
Yeah.
When I decided to get out of the state patrol, is like, is this job beneficial for your mental health?
No. Yeah.
No.
It's a question you got to ask.
And listening to people die on the phone and, like I have worse PTSD from being a dispatcher than I do than being in the military, right? Because listening to a mom scream at the top of her lungs because she found a kid dead, stuff like that. Then watching people
calm and give them directions.
Yeah, and luckily I'm really good at that.
Information.
Yeah, that's something I'm really good at. Like I run the Warriors Next Adventure 24/7 suicide hotline. I have no issues with that. I like the chaos, but for me, it's a brother or a sister.
Yeah,
that's somebody's life that I'm directly saving. Right, I'm not saving them; they're doing it themselves. But I'm talking them into it. I'm getting them to go down that right path. I get to directly intervene with somebody's life, and that is beautiful. I don't have to deal with driving around in a squad car, making stupid traffic stops that I don't agree with.
Enforcing laws that I don't care about.
Yeah, like especially like the marijuana laws.
Yeah.
When I was at the state patrol, like I did not agree with people going to jail because of marijuana.
Yeah.
I never was against marijuana.
I don't think it happens all that often as much.
No, not really. They usually
marijuana
confiscate
and like or there's something else,
Yeah.
and then you also get charged with
if you got marijuana, no big deal. But the
if you're
coke,
messing up, and then I find drugs, it's over.
But yeah, like like I don't smoke weed or anything like that. But I think people should have the choice, and there's not a lot of people. When's the last time you heard of somebody smoking a joint, going home and beating their wife?
I say that all the time, dude.
Might get a couple extra hugs.
I never wanted to fight anybody while I was high on marijuana.
No. And like I'm not promoting marijuana. I'm not being anti-alcohol. There's still people that drink. I had a drink this weekend. It's not a big deal. But I think people should have the right to choose, right? If this thing makes you feel better physically, mentally, like I have really bad joint pain and some ligament pain in my hands. And sometimes an edible is the only thing that really takes the pain away.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, I can not have enough to be high. I don't like to be high. I don't like to be altered. I hate it. I don't like to be drunk. I don't like any of that stuff. I like to be clear-headed all the time. But man, the pain relief that I get with that, it's unbelievable.
Inflammation lowering and stuff. Yeah.
It's
got good things.
There's actually my buddy Trey. I can't remember what it is. What's that company where like you buy into the company and you buy a bunch of their products. You have an online store and
There's
you try
a few
to
of them.
get people.
Yeah.
I think Amway.
Yep. I've
Yeah.
heard of that.
So they actually sell a CBD cream that's like got a heating touch to it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Good for rubbing it on
Oh,
muscles.
dude, I put it in my hands and my pain's
Yeah.
gone. So that's like the only thing I've ever bought from an Amway. Usually I'm like, get that crap away
Yeah,
from
I
me.
don't even want to. No, I don't want to start a
That
store.
pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
The good thing about Trey is Trey doesn't push that. He's just like, yeah,
Just do his
order some if
Yeah.
you want. You know,
Yeah.
here's a gift basket. Let me know what you like. But anyway, sorry, off on a tangent.
It's
We do
what
that.
we always do. It's
Hey,
okay.
I know.
Where
but-
were we?
Well, when I got out of the state patrol, I remembered the conversation that me and you had out on that bridge.
Were you still working there then?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
thought you'd already quit.
No, I
You were
was
talking about maybe
Yeah.
it was a good time to have that.
dude, it was perfect
conversation.
timing. And
Yeah.
that conversation that we had led to my final decision to say, you know what, I quit. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
me
leave.
too.
I'm gonna leave the state patrol, and I'm gonna actually go do what I love.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I had like one more response where at the prison where I didn't like my reaction, and I was out.
Well, especially when you start reacting in a way that's not how you want to react.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I had a guy come up to a new guy. I'd never worked with him before, and I think it was like one of his first days, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad fight. It was just a fight, and dude came up to me when we were about to write our reports and stuff, and the unit's on lockdown, and he's like, oh, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, did you see that, and I'm like, all I remember is them two guys kicking a dude on the ground, and as soon as me and my buddy showed up, they got off him, and the dude that was on the ground started fighting them, and then everybody's running around, and I
Yeah.
saw somebody go after my buddy, like just reach out for the CO buddy,
Mhm.
obviously, and I just reached out and I grabbed him and I suplexed him really hard, and I felt something hit the ground really hard, and I remember getting on top of him and telling him to put his hands behind his back, and that's really, I don't remember what happened after that. And the guy that we were talking about it after, he's like, yeah, I came up to you and asked you if you're okay, and you just stared at me, and I was like, I don't remember you ever coming up to me.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
No.
That's not good. So what led to you finally just saying I can't do this anymore?
It was causing problems at home. Everything, like I was having panic attacks. I couldn't even, like when I was at work, like there's tiers, there's
Mhm.
floors, and when you go up, as soon as I went up one level, like I was having vertigo. Like I couldn't even do rounds. I'd try to make the rounds go quick,
Mhm.
especially if I was with a new person and they're like checking every cell. I'm like, they're fine, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
No.
Not
Well, that's how you miss things. That's
Yeah.
how, people get hurt and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's dangerous,
exactly.
Not just for them, for you too.
And at home, it was just bad.
So the one thing that I like to, assess about somebody's job, whenever I'm talking to them on like with WNA, I just ask them like, what does it do for you? If it's bring home money,
Yeah, that's all it was.
quit your job.
I was chasing it. I was chasing that military feeling, man.
Yeah. Well, in the you can get camaraderie in that. Like at the State Patrol, I had the camaraderie, right? I love those guys.
Yeah.
The troopers never really treated dispatchers like.
Yeah.
It was never. It was always a
You
difference.
guys are cool.
Yeah,
but,
there's a difference, right?
You're not us.
Yeah, I can't run out there and
Yeah.
back up my trooper, right? But I've gotten a couple of words just watching the camera and yelling at my troopers like, "Hey, watch out!" I coached one of my troopers through a fight once because he can't fight. Get to the gym, Josh.
Pull guard.
You know who you are. But anyway, he ended up winning, which was great. Pinned
That's
him
good.
down, got him in cuffs. I was coach. I told him how to do Uchimata like over the radio.
I don't know what that is. Is that a
It's like a hip toss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I had a bunch of messages come in because like the troopers can send messages like a text.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, Joe Rogan. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
he won.
What he
you know?
needs to do,
I know, right? Start commentating.
he needs to eat that front leg.
I know, right? Just shoot in, double leg, pull out your gun. But no, like I just couldn't be around it anymore, man. And then on top of that, I saw myself, like I said, I love my troopers and everything like that. It's not them I disagree with, it's the
Yeah.
laws.
Yeah.
And I found myself contradicting myself constantly. and not agreeing with some things. And then at the same time, it was causing some issues mentally. And I have this beautiful nonprofit sitting there in front of me that I'm not running full time.
Reins, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, screw it, and then I had a big back pay from the VA too. So that it helped to have 10K sitting in your account.
Yeah.
So I quit my job. I said, screw it. And I didn't work until I think mid-June, did some carpentry stuff until I got cancer in October. And that's right about the time I got approved for 80%. Like my life is going to be dedicated to helping veterans.
I remember you posting about that, and I had quit my job, but I was just getting worse sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my ex telling me that I need to hit you up and see if I could start working with you. I wish I did, but things work out the way they do.
Well, you are now, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here now.
So a lot of you know, Siakora, a lot of you guys know about Warriors Next Adventure. We're also we also support Houses for Warriors, which, by the way, Andrew's going to be on next week. Me and him got a lot of catching up to do. He hasn't been on in a while. He's been pretty busy with his organization, but brain damage. Oh,
yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I also started a company called Invoke Change, right? So I'm doing life coaching for civilians now. Everything I do for veterans still going to be free. I'm never going to charge veterans for anything. There's certain events we're going to be doing at Invoke Change, and if a veteran wants to come, Warriors Next Adventure will sponsor it. So essentially the two companies are using each other for multiple different things. The beauty is what we talk about at Invoke Change is the same thing we talk about.
Say it's the same core.
Exactly.
It's all the principles.
Yeah. And you sat down. So you sat down and helped me out a lot, dude. I don't think I would have. I'm very happy with what we got with the seminars.
Yeah.
We haven't done any seminars yet, but what we plan on doing is like I'd like like 40 people. I don't think any more than 40 people though, because I like to be intimate.
Yeah.
And if there's too many people, it's more of like a speech rather than an interaction.
You could have it split up in 4 things at 10 too.
Well, yeah. So during the small groups and everything like that.
Smaller than that, maybe you're thinking?
No. I'm saying like 40 people or something along those lines have like just 5 group leaders. Yeah, just when I'm talking.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then remember, we split it up to where like we're gonna break off into small groups.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a lot of potential, right? So a lot of this sparked because of Andrew. Actually, Andrew flew me out to Convergence seminars, which I was very careful when I was making my seminars not to steal anything from them.
No,
right? I'm not
just
doing
to see how something like that goes.
Yeah. So it was really nice to sit through and see how it is. And at the end of the Convergence seminar, I walked up to the guy who was leading the seminar. I'm like, hey, you have my job. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're doing my job. He's like, this is my job.
Okay.
And he's like, okay. And I'm like, what do I need to do? So like, well, you got to go to the 90-day course, and you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this.
All
I'm
their
like,
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm to like, work for you.
Or I could start my own company.
Yep.
And so $240 later, I got an LLC, Invoke Change, and now we're doing life coaching, and which we dropped down to $50 an hour, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I would say.
Never
but
especially for what you provide.
Yeah, and my goal is to get these guys to not continue to call me.
Yep.
It's like fucking mama bird getting the baby birds to fly away.
Kicking them out.
I don't want you to continue to come to me. I'm not trying to make money off of this, right? I do want to get paid for my time, but
the purpose is
in
the name, man.
My purpose is to invoke change. My purpose is to get people to find that next thing in life, right? So that's why like this show and Warriors Next Adventure, I love it because it gives me a platform to actually help people see that there is a better life out there than what you have, right? If you're happy, wonderful.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Start showing other people how to do it.
Exactly.
Right. But if you're struggling, there is a way to improve. There's absolutely a way to improve. Right. And so I could not have been at this level with what we're doing without you. So I really appreciate all the work that you've done, for Invoke Change and everything. I'll start paying you eventually.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about it, man. Thanks for getting me here though.
Dude, you're, like I said, Josh is, whether you see me as douchey for saying this or not, Josh is my protege. Josh is going to be a hell of a life coach. Josh is going to be a wonderful motivational speaker. You have a mindset that I don't see very often, with some of the guys that I'm trying to help, right? There's a lot of guys who I don't see myself as helping you. Like I see you as an equal, because anytime we sit down and we start talking about like we start talking about theories or philosophy of something, you're right there with me, and you're always helping me
It's
build.
a different perspective, really.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
you're helping me. You're getting me to where you're at emotionally, really.
yeah, it's just being
um,
100% comfortable with everything going on.
Well, I needed to go through the principles myself.
Mhm.
I still do. I think everybody should.
Well,
Recycle it.
speaking of the 6 principles,
Yeah.
I had my meeting with. I'm not going to say who yet, just because I don't want to. If it doesn't work out, I don't want them. So, I had my meeting with the security forces commander, the first sergeant, the chief, and there's somebody else in the room too. I don't remember. But I had an interview with them, and we are working out me going out to the base and
That's
actually
good.
giving the 6 principles speech.
Good.
So I'll be doing 2 speeches, but I'm also doing jiu-jitsu seminars while I'm there.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I'll be available to talk if anybody needs to talk, right? So we're going to be pushing people to do like group meets, right? So what we're going to do is like, at this day, at this time, this is where we're going to be, just doing group talk. That's it. So we're literally just going to be hanging out talking, and then I'll start.
So like, are they coming to you, or are you going to them, or?
Well, I'll be going to them.
Okay.
Right. So
like
they're
troop area.
Yeah. So they're going to give me a certain amount of money with travel, and it's up to me to fly or drive.
Yeah, I meant, but like, because it's a multi-day thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like one day you'll be speaking, and then the other
Yeah,
day
so
you're gonna go to them.
Monday will be a big speech.
Okay.
There's 4 security forces squadrons. So 2 of them are in the field, 2 of them are back at the squadron.
Okay.
So I'm going to speak to everybody who's there, and then I'll be available for 4 days. So 1 or 2 of those days, we're just going to do like, hey, this is where we're going to be.
Okay.
On the base, but come hang out, come talk. I'm also going to go talk to leadership. One of my plans, this isn't set in stone, but one of my plans is to go talk to leadership about their suicide response.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you guys know what happened with Kenny Santiago over in Andrews Air Force Base. I got called in, but I was 45 minutes after he had posted that on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I went to work, and within 15 minutes, I had a ping on his phone. And I'm like, why did you guys not do this? And they're like, well, we didn't know we could.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is where you guys need me, because I can cut your time in finding somebody in half.
Yeah.
Because it literally took me 15 minutes to find this guy. 15 minutes.
If they don't have that capability, they could have just called.
And they do have the capability, though. That's the thing. They just got to make the phone call. Yeah. Right. So what I want to do is I want to go in and help these guys come up with better protocols for when somebody is suicidal, how to locate them. If somebody has a phone on them, I can find them. Yeah. Right. So that's the beauty of what I do for law enforcement agencies around the country. And then the cell phone providers will actually start pinging phones. Right. I'm working on figuring out what exactly I need to do to be able to call like AT&T, Sprint, stuff like that, and do pings myself. The hard thing is I'm not a law enforcement agency, so it'd be really difficult to do.
Yeah.
But I'm working on some things.
Yeah,
I got a friend of mine that works at the Fusion Center, like FBI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm working on something. I'm not promising anything, but I'm working
what
on.
You got now is good though.
Yeah, no, it's great. And local law enforcement works very well with me. Once they figure out who I am and what I'm doing, and plus I was a dispatcher, I know what to say to make sure they ping that phone.
Yeah.
Their life is in imminent danger is essentially all you got to say. Like, this guy's going to kill himself. So my goal is to go to a couple bases and help them rewrite their protocols who have recently had suicides. The main goal is to get people talking. And then
have they had one recently?
Where I'm going, yeah.
Wow.
Back in January.
Then it's definitely needed.
Actually, I am going to say something right now too. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is difficult. Not for me, just because I'm used to it and I drown myself in it. It is still difficult on me, and I find ways to overcome that stuff. Like, I go out in my garage and I work on my woodworking projects. I build race cars, play with wolves. Recently, there was a suicide in the military, and one was a security forces officer, and another one was a former security forces officer. He cross-trained. 2 officers in the last month killed themselves. On top of that, all the active duty members that have been killing themselves. It's ridiculous. It's getting to the point where I was Air Force security forces. Security forces always going to be near and dear to my heart. I serve the military. I serve veterans, but security force is always close to my heart. And knowing that not only were there 2 security forces suicides, but there were officers, something is not right. And so that's what I'm pushing with going out and speaking for the Air Force. So I'll find out in about a week or two if they're going to be flying me out. It sounds like it's going to be a yes.
Good.
And this is just my foot getting in the door.
That's really good, though.
Like I told everybody 2 years ago, within the next 3 years, the Air Force is going to be paying me to speak about mental health. And this is it, dude. High five.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. But it's nice because not only am I getting paid to do something I love, like there's a Les Brown quote, figure out how to get paid for what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I get paid to go talk to people about mental health and help them find better lives. It's the dream job for me. You know, I literally get to invoke change in people like that.
In your kind. Yeah.
Exactly. And I get to help the people that I'm closest to, and that's veterans, military, security forces, you know, and I get to help them actually see a better potential in life or a better path, you know. And there's plenty of people out there that I look at and I see them as, this sounds kind of fucked up, but I see them as a project, right?
Yeah.
I see what their potential is because I can see potential in just about anybody, right? For whatever it is that they want to do or what they want to accomplish, I can see the potential. I see your potential probably much more than you do.
A lot more.
But that's why I'm not going to give up on you, because I see it. And once you get to that point, you're going to look back at this and be like, dude, what was I doing? You know,
I'm already doing that.
Let's see. The beauty is though, like you have humility, and you're starting to become more vulnerable and opening up and speaking.
Yeah.
You know, and speaking is a massive tool. You know, imagine the people that you could help who are in your same situation by sharing your story. And that's why I started Warriors Next Adventure, was to start people doing
it's already
that.
happening.
Yeah,
I'm already
dude,
talking to people
It's amazing.
in the almost exact same situation where I'm like, this is the part where I wish I would have had somebody that was talking to me when I was going through this.
Yeah.
Because this is where you make decisions that are going to change what could happen next.
Yeah. Or fucking kill yourself.
Or kill yourself.
You know. So I mean, that's what I kept saying is, you know, like I told everybody on the phone call today, it was my goal. I had to become my own hero. I had to be the one to pull myself out. Everyone needs to do
It's
that.
still heavy for me, man.
But it's like, you know,
actually, you bringing up the hike or whatever, that's where I went.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy because I remember, because I was going there, you know, didn't know what I wanted to do, but I went there, and instead of doing something stupid, I thought about the conversations that we had, and I said, there's still more I can do.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
You just wait till you see what I have in store for you. God damn it. You're going to do amazing things, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to everybody. So I want you to understand, I'm not just saying that to, you know, to stroke your ego or anything like that.
It doesn't.
Okay,
not
good.
right now, at least.
But no, it's like, I see where you can go. And my goal with Warriors Next Adventure and Invoke Change, right? So in Invoke Change, we have life coaching, seminars, and motivational speaking. It's not just me. Yeah. My goal is to create motivational speakers. So Tommy Hester, who I'm rowing the ocean with, he is another one of my projects when it comes to speaking. He's already a good speaker. He's very entertaining. He's good at drawing people in. And one of his specialties is he's very, very logical. And he's good at putting puzzle pieces together better than I can.
So he can like weave conversations, or not conversations, but speeches.
Yeah, he can swerve your way of thinking into the way he wants to. Very, very good.
That's cool.
And you know how I've been really digging deep in NLP?
Yeah.
Neuro-linguistic programming. I've been doing it for years. And essentially what I use is neuro-linguistic programming by getting somebody to, I got a new phone. Dude, this thing's amazing. It's a Galaxy 22.
How many
I don't know.
Circle things is this? Is that all
Dude, it's got like 10 zoom. Dude, these things are amazing, right? That's not a promotion for them, but anyway, squirrel.
NLP.
Yeah, NLP.
Gotcha.
But no, it's beautiful. What you can do is you essentially you swerve somebody to the left a little bit because there's an object right here you want them to see. You swerve them, you adjust that compass just a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, look at that!" I'm like, "Oh, how did you find that?"
Yeah.
When it's like that's what I was making you do the whole time.
Like kids with Easter eggs.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a car salesman. A
Yeah.
really good car salesman uses neurolinguistic programming, not only looking at body motion and body stature, not stature. What's the word I'm looking for? Demeanor.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the word.
What it's called, micro something.
Greg says I only have one circle thing.
Me too. I have like 2.
Well, get yourself something other than a flip phone, chief. But no, like it's amazing what you can do with it. And so I am trying to help people learn my way of doing things. I keep telling everybody like this is not the way. This is my way. This is what I do. Take what I teach you and mold it into your own.
Yeah.
You know, and so you eventually, when you start becoming one of the Invoke Change motivational speakers, because it's going to happen, damn it.
All right.
My goal is to have you, Tommy. There's a couple other that I want to bring in eventually, but they already got their own thing going on. We're working on doing like a big veterans summit, essentially.
Okay.
I have so I'll talk about who I have in this group. It's Annette Winneberger. I'm sorry, Annette. Your name is so long. Annette A. Or Annette W12. You ever have somebody in the military have a really long name? You call them G12.
Alphabet. That's what they say.
So Annette, Tally Bill. If you go look up Tally Bill, Elijah Best. So Elijah Best is a business coach. He's extremely smart. Brian Tally. He helped found the Tally Bill. He actually went and petitioned Congress himself because not only his first congressman got fired,
wow.
His second one went to jail.
Damn,
so yeah, he kept
luck.
getting screwed. So he's like, I need to figure out how to petition Congress myself. I've had Bill Tally on this show before. Go back and listen to that episode. He's amazing. His story's awesome. And then Annette, Annette's an author, but she wrote a book called The Live Between Two Walls. I believe it's called. I'm sorry, Annette. I got bad memory. But it's a book about her trauma in the military and how she finally stood up and said, I can't do this anymore. She was I believe she was a major when she got out.
I think I've seen the podcast.
Yeah, she's great, man.
Yeah.
She's such a good speaker. And then she's also doing some life coaching stuff here too. So what we plan on doing is hitting different things, right? So hitting the politics, mental health, business, and like authors, right? Okay. But the beautiful thing is, I don't think Elijah wrote a book yet, but Brian Tally and Annette both wrote a book. I'm getting closer to finishing Warrior's Path to Mental Health, or Warrior's Path to Inner Peace. That should be coming out. Man, I want to get it done before I leave in December. I'm getting there, man. I got about 15,000 words, and that's only 2 chapters. So I'm very long-winded sometimes, which is why I have 2 podcasts instead of just one, so I can talk more.
Can fit more in.
I got a word count, man.
You're already starting your second book.
I know, right?
You haven't even finished.
Dude, so that second book is going to be about the row. So I will be writing a book about the WNA, WNA group that went and rode for Fight or Die. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably write the book, but I'm going to get all 4 of our stories.
Okay.
And I'm going to split the money 4 ways. So all 4 of us are going to get something from it. Whatever they choose to do with the money is whatever. I'm probably just going to donate the money to WNA. I mean, that's usually what I do.
Yes, it's what you do with everything. Yeah.
With my book, I'm probably gonna take the proceeds because I told people one of my impossible goals. Remember me talking about the impossible goal?
Yep.
One of my impossible goals was to become a published author, and I've told that to a few people a couple years ago. They're like, "You?
Yeah.
Get out of here! You can't write. I can't read. I really can't read."
But you have ideas.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
And the thing is, the difference between me and a lot of people is I pull the trigger.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. I see something
forever. Wasn't gonna do it.
Well, one of my sayings for people is pet the puppy, right? How many times you've been walking across the street and you see a puppy over there on a fence and you just keep walking, but in your head you're like, go pet the puppy, and you just keep going.
Yeah,
go pet the puppy.
Right, I like that analogy.
Live life, pet the puppy. And I keep telling people that there's so many things in life that we take away from ourselves.
Just do it.
Just go do it. Go pet the puppy, man. Go write that book. Go do that one thing you've always wanted to do. We only got a few minutes left, but I want everybody to understand something. You can literally do whatever you want. Whatever you want. If you say, well, I can't because I have a job and I got a mortgage. I quit my house when I had a mortgage. Figure out a way. There is a way to do whatever you want in life. We got to stop limiting ourselves.
I'm not telling you to quit your job.
Yeah, don't just quit your job. Don't say Nick told me to quit my job.
Think about things and then
yeah,
do things.
Get a plan, like figure something out. But don't hold yourself to something that you think you have to do, because we don't have to do anything. There's nothing that we have to do. You know, I mean, like
It goes back to what, like, who do you think that you are?
Yeah. Who do you want to be?
Who do you want to be?
You know, do you want to continue to be that husband, that father that goes to work to a job he hates, goes home and just sits at home and does everything for his kid?
Unfulfilled.
Yeah, everything for his kid, everything for his wife, but does nothing for himself. Same with the moms, right? This goes both ways. I happen to talk about men because I'm a man. Same for moms. Go on a solo trip.
Do something.
Go somewhere.
Do anything you want to do, man.
You know, I told Mara multiple times, go on solo adventures. I'm always gone, right? I invite her to a lot of stuff that we do through WNA because she's a drug addiction counselor. So, you know, she's very helpful. And I have no issue bringing her with because she's a counselor and she's very smart with what she does, and she does it for free. So, but I just go do something on your own, right? You don't have to do everything for everybody. Go take that solo trip you've always wanted to do. Go down to Arizona and go walk around the rocks. Yeah, go learn something new.
Yeah.
Take a class. Write a book. Greg, Chief, if he's still listening, he went and took a welding class just because he wanted to figure out how to weld. You know, I'm stupid and just got a welder and started welding things together. Right? Everything in my garage is welded together now. But yeah, like, you know, what is one thing that if you could stand in front of somebody who's stuck, what would you say to them?
Start moving.
What if they don't know where to go?
Pick something.
Just go.
Just go. Take one step.
Send it, son. I personally hate seeing people stall themselves, you know, and I got Mara a book for her birthday called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I personally wanted to read it, but I knew a lot of the stories in that book, and she came up to me and said, you know, I started reading that book and it's just like, it's amazing. And she quit her job.
Wow.
Now she's doing assessments and she actually loves it. She's making more money.
Wow.
She's at home. She smiles.
I was going to ask you about that.
Dude, it's great.
Go? Yeah.
And
awesome.
by the way, shout out to Tasker. They don't sponsor me or anything, but Tasker is a thing. I'm a carpenter. I'm a handyman, and you just make a profile. And like, if you need extra money, like on Tuesday, you just say, hey, I'm available Tuesday. And I've been hired by like 18 people in the next 2 weeks. So like, just because she was supposed to get a job, it didn't work out. She is doing her own thing now. Yeah. She's very happy. She's doing well, but we don't really know what the finances are going to look like. So I'll go back to work for a couple weeks. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, I'm already mudding and taping and sheetrocking and doing all kinds of stuff, but I'm working for myself. It's awesome. Dude, Tasker is amazing. If you guys need a good carpenter and you're in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area, go and call me. But yeah, no, it's nice because I love doing carpentry. I don't like working for people though.
Yeah.
So I'm continuing to live. Yeah. I'm continuing to do whatever.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Show up and do your thing.
It's amazing, man. Well, hey, thank you for coming. For sure. Thanks for rushing your ass 45 minutes to get here because I didn't have a guest. Go ahead and check out House for Warriors, houseforwarriors.org, warriorsnextadventure.com. Those are the two nonprofits that this show helps out. And so we have a Patreon. You go check out the Patreon. It's going to be Patreon.com/Veterans Action Report. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I'm behind like 2 or 3 episodes, so I'll get them uploaded eventually. But you can always find us there. On top of that, I love you guys. I hope every single one of you goes out and does something. I hope every single one of you starts talking about your mental health. I hope every single one of you starts living a great life and doing amazing things. I love you guys. We'll see you guys next week.